Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. You may think that I am at Port Olisar, but you would be wrong. This is Alpha 3.8 PTU First Wave. It has been released. I've done a video looking at all the patch notes for that already. I wanted to sort of like do the news while in game and maybe have a quick look at microTech while we are here. The sort of planet. That was so loud that I think I'm deaf. So there's a load of new stuff in this latest patch. There's new space stations, as you can see. They're above all the planets and moons. But we've also got mining updates. We've got new missions. I cannot remember how to leave this place. Probably up the stairs. Let's follow that man. We've got ship updates. We've got new weapons. We've got a whole new melee system with punchies. And you can freely punch each other around Grimhex if you want a grand melee bout. Go there because it's not illegal to punch each other to oblivion there. What else do we have? Mining updates, weather effects, Planet Tech v4, server-side object container streaming version 1. You can choose where you first spawn as well, which is really useful. Actually, I'll show you very quickly before we go to security and all that sort of jazz. I'll show you the hologram and one of the sort of like food areas. So in the food court, amazingly cool holograms on the ceilings. It's so pretty. We've got a big food court. Eventually, you will be able to buy food with as part of the PlayStation system. It looks like. Yeah, the new space stations. Basically, all the old space stations have been updated with the new interiors, and there's new space stations around like above microTech and stuff like that, and they act as respawn points, which is fantastic. Let's grab a ship and go down to the surface of microTech, but we also have oh no, let's retrieve our Super Hornet here. So we also have the Crusader Ares Ion and Inferno. They're currently on concept sale for $195. It's a size 7 gun with a ship attached. We are going to pad 1. So this is Port Tressler from the outside. Looks like just a rest stop. But you'll notice that everything feels a bit smoother in 3.8. And the combat is a little bit more intuitive. And it's easier to hit things. There's a lot of improvements with this latest patch, which I am very, very, very happy with the way it's come together. The 3.8 PTU seems very stable, but it's got pretty high frame rates, and it's just the general sort of like... there's a lot of meta problems and a lot of balance problems for sure for combat, but it is a lot better than it used to be, in my opinion. You're able to hit stuff with fixed weapons, like the weapons converge properly on targets. It's pretty good, pretty useful for that. Shall we fly down to wherever New Babbage is? So this is Planet microTech, and this is the version 4 of Planetary Tech used to create this. Now, it is very white as a biome, as we can see. There are sort of like weather effects going on the planet's surface. We are just above New Babbage, and we are coming in to get as close as we can to it. And we can get very, very, very close. There's still popping of assets going on there. So I'm hoping that they will solve that. They're going to continue to iterate on the version 4 of Planetary Tech. And obviously, there's a load more stuff they need to do for New Babbage, because it's just the exterior of New Babbage at the moment. But the whole biome, or biomes of microTech and New Babbage are pretty cool. And there isn't really a no-fly zone here. So we can get super close to the buildings and the areas on the ground and fly past them. And it is significantly better, in my opinion, than what we've previously had. Also, you'll notice as well that quantum traveling seems to be a bit faster. And you can quantum travel when you're not so far out of orbit now and stuff like that, of the planet's atmosphere. So they just added a load of sort of like quicker arcadey gameplay improvements. This sort of stuff will get heavily balanced in the future, obviously. I mean, Star Citizen is a iterative project, and they're constantly iterating on it. But I thought people would want to see New Babbage and microTech at the moment as it stands. Now, the popping in of assets and the way it looks for me at the moment, is not amazing from this sort of like far away level of detail. It's sort of like the popping in is something I hoped would have been fixed, but especially with new Babbage, it is being built out at the moment. And you can just see those levels of detail popping in, and that's something they are trying to mitigate. You'll notice, though, that sort of like in the environments, so with the mountains and the biome with the stone stuff, that is not popping in. The sort of like typical geometry of the land and mountains and biomes and stuff is significantly better. It does pop in a bit. There's certainly levels of detail that need to be merged in better and stuff like that. But it's significantly better than new Babbage is. Alright, let's get a more stable sort of camera angle. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's place my ship so like slightly more centralized. Ooh. Cool. Put away my landing gear. You can see we can actually get really, really close to the city. Like, really close. Really, really close. See? And I think that's pretty cool. And there's a lot of cool stuff you can see in the sort of like background. We'll go have a look at some of the tree areas in a minute. You can actually have a look at the trees. They're pretty good. They're pretty good quality. And you've got to remember there's thousands and thousands of trees being rendered. We've got snow. Now, that snow effect is based on wind maps and that sort of stuff. Obviously, they are building dynamic weather into the game. See a bit more of a little bit more stormy here. But they're building dynamic weather. Not going to be in 3.8 dynamic weather, just more weathery effects and the sort of like movement towards that. Let's go through the building with a hole in it. We can see the tram system and network. We can follow it actually. That we will have at New Babbage and microTech. But yeah, I was really, really impressed with some of the assets here. See the buildings in the background, the new branding. So when you get really close, the detail is staggering. Like it's really pretty awesome looking. Can we fly through here? Gentle, gentle, gentle. Yes, we can. Perfect. There's like frozen sea biomes. We've got the domes that you would have seen on the original sort of like concepts as well here. And I really, really, really like the look of the city. When you start like, looking at it at that angle, it looks like a real city, sort of. Well, I suppose what we need is more movement of ships and traffic and stuff like that, and the tram actually working. And actually us both to be inside New Babbage, that would help a lot. Let's go land by some trees and have a look at that. And then maybe check out another biome. Oh. You can see here the trees are very snow covered. And that is supposed to be biome related. So there's huge snowfall in this particular area. So the trees are very, very, very white. And if we go somewhere slightly different, you will see less snow-covered trees is the idea. As far as I'm aware. Maybe this is the same biome. Oh, no. Okay. See, there's a lot of... all the snow effect being blown at me here. Got some cool little facilities in the mountains, which we should see missions related to a little bit later on. Let's see if we can find somewhere nice to land. Land here, just to have a quick look at the like general snow underfoot biome. Oh, what a flat surface we're choosing to land on. I say we, I mean me. Perfect. Don't slide. Stop moving. Stop. 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 Perfect. You'll notice now there's plants and rocks on the ground. You'll notice that we're much more in that weather effect. So let's go into first person. We can see the snow droplets on the visor from the biome. And eventually that would sort of like, well, when we actually have better weather, dynamic weather, that will really start to obscure views and stuff. But we should see the footprints left in the snow. You should better track people with that in the future. Little rocks. Some of the procedural generated little assets that help make these sort of like locations. Little bushes. Let's go near a tree. Have a quick look at a tree. I know what you want as an audience. Let's have a look at a tree. How exciting. I mean, it's new, isn't it? It's new. No leaf tree. More Nordic trees. I'm not sure if all the trees look the same or not, because it's hard to tell when we're in the middle of a snowy thing. But, I mean, if they had told me this was dynamic weather, I'd have been like, oh, cool, yeah. But it's not. It's static. It's a step towards that. It's weather effects at the moment. Right. Oh, Chip is doing moonwalk. Right, let's try and find another biome. Oh, that wind. The wind and the snow. Oh, look how good that looks though, right? And you'll notice, and we'll have a look at it later, not today, but we'll have a look at it later, all of the planets and moons have changed, have been updated for microTech v4. But I'm looking forward to some of the other improvements that it will bring later down the line. I want to see, you see that in the horizon line, just before it, you can see the sort of fading in of assets now, rather than the sort of like more of an aggressive pop. I want to see that merged even better, obviously, so that at a distance we can see that tree line. Stuff doesn't sort of like fade in or pop in. That would be my dream for planets. Eventually, visually anyway. And obviously the gameplay needs to be there, and some would argue that's more important. Whereas I see that very much not as mutually exclusive, and we sort of might need both. So it's actually quite hard to navigate around microTech at the moment, because you can only really navigate via the orbital markers and travel to New Babbage. But other than that, there's no real way of moving between the biomes without sort of like exploring the planet by going down to it. So we'll just have a look at this sort of like different coloured biome at microTech. I'll do a full like planetary look at some point, but I just wanted to go on the ground, have a quick look here, and then probably show you some silliness of the punching in Grimhex. So for me, this looks like where potentially there used to be a sea or something. Literally liquid water on microTech. But we will see proper trees here. I say proper trees. Non-frosty trees. You can see we're still getting popping of assets in, even when we're pretty close to the ground, which is interesting. We actually have proper sort of like more grassy lands here. This is sort of like what the planet would have looked like if it hadn't had the terraforming accidents, the idea. But I think it looks pretty cool. We will land. And have a quick look at the sort of like assets on the biome floor. Very rich colours. autumnal colours and heather, highland colours. Hear the weather in the background. Oh, snow coming off of my ladder while I am slightly detached for it. Got snow and rain sort of like hitting my visor still. We have a snowstorm rolling in, it looks like, potentially. You can see, look at the vibrant colours here. You've got like daisies and lots of little different types of flower. Very different feel from the frosty ice biome that's literally just over the mountains. And a more woody-like tree. Do the trees look identical to each other? Don't know, it's hard to tell. There's a good amount of detail to them. I don't notice them immediately looking like each other if they are identical. I just moved around slightly. 3.8 looks fantastic. And server-side object container streaming and the planetary v4 tech is really, really, really great at certain things. But there's still the problem with popping in of assets, especially around New Babbage. Oh, they need to solve that. But it is the first wave of PTU, so they've got time, and, you know, the game's not released yet. They've got time to fix that. It's just the other stuff's looking amazing. We do have a ship giveaway each month for December. It's for a Carrack, the Mighty Explorer. You just have to comment on one of my videos during the month to be in for a chance of winning that. More details below. Also, if you're looking for a VPN or password manager, Nord have you covered. Shadow as well. They're an amazing way of having a gaming PC, sort of like super high spec, without the giant costs associated with that. You can have it as a subscription service and leverage the power of your internet to stream a gaming PC to you. Oh, bam. With any of those, use the code BoredGamer to get a discount or follow the links below.